out. Yeah, we'll try. And I know when someone when they find that they're hurting us.
No.
She's looking pretty good.
So thank you for being here. Hopefully something that come out of this class will be inspiring. There's some singers out there this year. And the rhymes and anyway. You know when the big groups play, they usually have the small bands just opening up the gig, you know, so that's what's happening here. I'm just kind of opening up for the big event. So, you know. And I was told they're having a little difficulty in the kitchen with the gas and so forth, so a few things will be late. So, one time Gorkishore Das Babaji invited everyone. He announced he was having a big feast and a big festival. So everyone came. They thought, wow, there'll be nice prasad and everything. He said, well, when they all showed up, he said, unfortunately, I'm a poor beggar. I cannot feed anyone, but we can all enjoy the prasad of Krishna Katha. Prabhu said he had a very good sense of humor. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihara Jaya Radha Kunja Vihara Gopi Jaya All glories to the Krishna, glorious to the all glories to Shri Guru. It's a good thing I've got a lot of notes, because if it's going to be a longer class, I'll have something to talk about. Actually, there's a nice little pastime before I get into the class. This disciple came to see his guru, and he was expressing how I read the scriptures and I can never retain anything of what I'm reading. So, as it says, that one should approach a spiritual master to inquire and seva, to render service. So he said, now you've inquired, so you have to render service. I said, okay, Guru. So I said, I want you to take this straw basket, go to the Yamuna and fill it up with water and bring it back. So the disciples thinking that's impossible. So it's a test for my guru to see how sincere I am. So he decided, okay, I'll do that. He went, and of course, sure enough, as soon as they lifted the basket, everything came out, although the water leaked out. So he tried and tried and tried again. Finally, nothing happened. He thought, oh, I'm so insincere. My guru's not giving me any shakti, any ability to do this. So he came back very disappointed and he told his guru, Maharaj, I couldn't accomplish the water fell out of the basket. The guru said, okay, but what happened? I don't know. Well, look at the basket. He looked and said, well, the only thing I can see is the basket got clean. Very clean compared to that's your answer. Scriptures, Chaitanya Marjana, you'll get cleansed. You might not be able to retain everything, but your heart will get cleansed. The whole idea of us reading the scriptures, that we can cleanse our heart. So, this is a very interesting verse because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj preached 6 months on this verse every day for a period of 6 months. He was known as the walking encyclopedia. He knew, so I'm not going to read it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskrityam. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Totayam Mudiraye.
Bhagavatam Sevaya. Bhagavatam Mastoke. Om Nityamati Vinandasya. Vinandana Shalakaya. Chakshuranitam Vinam. Tasmi Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Bhagavan Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So, seeing that they put it on the board, we'll all, I guess, chant it together. I'll do the word for word, and then we'll read the word-for-word translation and the verse. And this is a 8-page purport, so I won't actually read the whole purport. I'll read, if you don't mind, I'll read sections of it which pertain to what I'm trying to present in this class or this verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janadi Asya Yato Vayad Ikarashtas Saute Abhijya Swarat Tene Brahma Rida Ya Adi Savaye Viyanti Yat Surya Tejo Vari Mridam Yata Vinimayo Yatra Sri Sardo Amika Dhamma Swaina Sada Nirasta Wakam Satyam Param Jamahi. The genius of Srila Vyasadeva to write 18,000 verses which compiles the Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Janmadyasya yatom vaya ikarashchateti abhidyaswara. Tene brahmaridaya adhikavaye nuyanti yam suraya. Tejo vari vridam yata vimayo yatra trishalo mrisha. Dhamnam swarna sada nirista uhaka satyam param yamahi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadyasya yatum vaya itarataschate abhidyaswara. Tene brahma ritaya adhikavaye nuyanti yam suraya. Tejo vari vridam yata vinimayo yatra trishalo mrisha. Dhamkam swaina sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param jamahi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadyasya yato vaya itarataschate abhidyaswara. Tene brahma ritaya adhikavaye nuyanti yam suraya. Tejo vari vridam yata viminayo trishalo mrisha. Satyam param jamahi. Someone else would like to chant?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Charati Sabhikya Swarat Brahma Hridayaya Adikavi Mushanti Yatsuryah Yopari Mridamyata Vinamayo Yatra Trishar Purushah Satyam Param Dhimahi
offering obeisances, Bhagavate, unto the personality of God, Vasudevaya, unto Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva, O Lord Shri Krishna, the primeval Lord, Janma Adi, creation, substance, and destruction, Asya, of the manifested universes, Yata, from whom, Anvayat, directly, Ikara, indirectly, Cha, and Ateshu, purposes, Abhidya, fully committed, Swara, fully independent, Tene, imparted, Brahma, the Vedic knowledge, Rida, consciousness of the heart, Ya, one who, Adikavari, unto the original created being, Muyanti, our illusion, Yat, about whom, Sarasa, great sages and demigods, Teja, fire, Vari, water, Mridam, earth, Yadha, as much as Vinimaya, action and reaction, Yatra, whereupon Visarga, three modes of creation, creative faculties, Amisa, almost actual, Dhamma, along with all transcendental paraphernalia, Swaina, self-sufficient, Siddha, always, Marasta, negation of Huakam, illusion, Satyam, truth, Param, absolute, Vinai, meditate upon. Translation and interpreted by His Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, Shri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestation, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original being. By him even the great sages and demigods were placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the usual representation of water seen on fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representation of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. So I guess we'll repeat that. O my Lord, Shri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, all personality of God, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, substance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations. He is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire, or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Quote a verse. So, here we see an interesting aspect of this particular verse. As I was mentioning, there's 18,000 verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Generally speaking, you write a play or a book or a movie, you start off building characters, you build up the plot, you build it up, and at the end, when you leave, here, Srila Vyasadeva, as soon as he opens the curtain, you could say, bang, there it is, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada talks a little bit about that. He says the history of the narration, the history of the Srimad Bhagavatam is also very glorious. It was compiled by Srila Vyasadeva after he had attained maturity in transcendental knowledge. He wrote this under the instructions of Naradaji, his spiritual master. Vyasadeva compiled all the Vedic literatures containing the four divisions of the Vedas, the Vedanta Sutra, the Brahma Sutra, the Puranas, the Upanishads, and so on. But nevertheless, he was not satisfied, and the dissatisfaction would exert by his spiritual master, and thus Narada advised him to write on the transcendental activities of Lord Shri Krishna. These transcendental activities are described specifically in the 10th canto of this work. And more specifically, in the fourth chapter, so Srila Vyasadeva wrote all these literatures, and even in see that after doing all that, he was not feeling very satisfied. And he was kind of introspectively kind of analyzed, why is it that I'm not feeling content after writing all these literatures? And he expresses that in the this may be because I do not specifically the devotional service of the Lord which is dear both to perfect beings and to the infallible Lord. And then Narada Muni appears and he corrects him or practically chastises him. He says, son of Parashara Narada inquired, are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as aspects of self-realization? And then Sri Narada says, you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord are considered worthless. The people in general are naturally inclined to enjoy, and you have encouraged them in that way in the name of religion. This is verily condemned, and it's quite unreasonable, because they are guided under your instruction. They will accept such activities in the name of religion and will hardly care for prohibitions. So it's pretty heavy chastisement, and therefore Srila Vyasadeva takes that instruction very seriously, and in the beginning, immediately, he discloses what this book is all going to be about. It's going to be about glorification of Krishna, son of Vasudeva, and nobody else. And he also does it, on another side, as a warning, that if you're still on Kama or Jnana, Kama Kanda or Jnana Kanda, or even if you're an impersonalist seeking Brahman, don't waste your time reading this book, because it won't satisfy your needs. This is really a book meant for the Paramahamsas, the great exalted devotees, those who have come to a certain level of understanding, a certain maturity in their existence. Of course, Narada also condemns that the Vedas are one side. And when Krishna says that he tells Arjuna that the Vedas mostly deal with the modes of material nature, so rise above, go to a transcendental platform. Now we can say, well, why the Vedas are even there then? It's a distraction of adoration. Well, I would explain that in Vedic culture, everything is there like a pharmacy. You go to the pharmacy, there are so many drugs, so many medicines are there. It doesn't mean that that's pertaining to your need. Therefore, you have to go to a spiritual master and get a prescription. Just like you don't take any drugs when you go in the pharmacy. Some drugs may be good, some could kill you. So you get a prescription. You get diagnosed exactly what is your... So the Vedic culture is like that. It would take everyone, depending on their level of consciousness, and bring it up. It's not like someone comes to the doctor and the doctor says, oh, you're too sick, we can't cure you. Right? You go to a doctor expecting the doctor will cure you. So according to Vedic conception, Vedic culture, everyone was included. No one was taken out. But depending on your state of consciousness, different things were prescribed accordingly. And we see in modern society, because people don't follow scriptures, they're all confused and everything's going crazy. Because people want to gratify their senses. In culture, you can gratify your senses if you're on that bodily platform, but there's a way of doing it in such a way that you won't become degraded. This modern society, people are just becoming more and more degraded because there's no guideline, there's no prescription that is being given for people's gratification. You have the body, okay, you have to satisfy the demands of the body, but how are you going to do it in a very pious, religious way so that it doesn't become detrimental to your spiritual advancement? So these were techniques, just like you have wood that's wet. Very difficult to light a fire when the wood is wet, when the wood is green. But when the wood starts drying up and it's very dry, then it can ignite. So for people who you could say they're green, they're still inanimate, world, you can present the Bhagavatam, they will be interested. We say Guru Sadhana Shastra, yes, you should follow that, but you have to see the importance of it. Just like if you give $1,000 to a child, it's $1,000, but does he have the capacity to appreciate what's been placed in his hand? He doesn't. That requires a certain maturity. So similarly, we may try to present Krishna consciousness to many people, but if they haven't come to the stage of maturity, they won't be able to appreciate it. They won't be able to value what is being presented to them. So here, this particular verse starts with Om. Om Namo Bhagavate. And Om is the Mahavakya. It's the sound that from everything comes. It's also described to be the Bija. The Bija means like a banyan seed. You take a little seed, a banyan tree, but a huge tree will come out of it. So from Om, everything has come out. And therefore Prabhupada describes that this Om is actually also, in the purport, Prabhupada describes that that the Om is also the Gayatri mantra, is part of the Gayatri, and therefore Om and finishes with Dimahi, I meditate upon. So the Gayatri mantra, an elaboration of that is the Gayatri mantra, and an elaboration of that is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Om, for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, actually represents Radha and Krishna. It is the Chakravyuha, because the Om is A represents Lord Balaram, who is the sustainer of everything. We can be in a comatose state, completely gone, or we can be in a samadhi state, a full awakening. So Balaram's in charge of the awakening state. That represents the A in the Om. And then you have the U, that is Pradumna, who is the super soul of the universe. And he represents the dreaming state of the living entity. And then you have the M, which represents Aniruddha, of the Chaturvyuha. So Balaram is Shankar, Shama, Pradumna, Aniruddha, and the super soul, Antayami, within each living entity. You have the dot on top of the which is Vasudeva Shri Krishna. And that is the stage of full awakening of samadhi. Om is, we say Om in many mantras. Here Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, but Om Ajnanandasya, Om Apavrita Pavitrova, in the Gayatri mantra, Om Bhagavate Swaha. So that Om is there in many of the Vedic literature, and it's introduction of Vedic scriptures. And then you have Om Namo. The basin sees is, what is a basin seed? It's a kind of surrender. That I surrender. When we offer the basin seed, go down, Dantavats, full body, which means that actually I'm Nivedana, that I fully surrender all my limbs, my body, my words, my mind to Krishna. And why do we surrender? Because Krishna says, if you surrender to me, I will give you shelter. We have a term in the Western world, people who are looking for shelter, people who are refugees. Refugees mean people who have no shelter, kind of shelter, refuge. They're looking for a place. So we, on the Bali platform, I'm a Canadian, this is my shelter, right? Or I'm American, or we identify with the place where that's going to give surrender. But ultimately, this body, this country, this is not going to be able to give us any shelter. But if we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will give us some shelter. And we have experienced that when we have a child, a young child, if the child is surrendered to the parents, then he gets full benefit. But if the child rebels, very difficult for the parents to help the child attitude. So if we have ourselves, or if you have someone who's know-it-all, you try to give instruction to someone, yeah, I know. Then what happens to you is like, okay, he knows. Why am I bothering with this guy? He already knows everything. If someone is humble and submissive, it opens our desire to want to help this person. But if that person demonstrates arrogance towards us, then it's this person. No, he knows everything. The rebellious side of Krishna. I mean, there's two birds, it describes like two birds on the branch. One is picking at the fruits, and the other one is simply witnessing and waiting. When is this fool going to turn around and ask me? Right? So, when are we going to turn around and ask Krishna? But to do that, there has to be a surrender attitude, submissive. Because that submission also indicates that you're superior to me. That's the nature of the soul. The soul is humble. The bodily identification, ahamkara, prakritikara manani vimakaman samsa, ahamkara vimudapakataniti. The ahamkara, the false ego, makes us think to be very proud. That I'm this body, this belongs to me, I'm the enjoyer, I'm the controller. This is the tendency, the mentality. But if we want Krishna to come in a conscious fashion, of course Krishna is always there, but more in the hidden. The false ego, the arrogance that we display is like a cloud covering the sun. So we have to remove that cloud. So the way of doing that is to namo, obeisances, offering obeisances to Krishna. And to who? Bhagavate. Not to anyone, not to the demigods or this one, but Bhagavate. Bhagavan, the one who possesses all opulence. In an early class in the 60s, New York, I was saying how you'll be very happy to learn the definition of God. That he's Bhagavan, one who possesses all opulence, but unlimitedly. Right? He has all beauty, all strength, all knowledge, all wealth, all fame, and he's very renounced. So if you find someone who has that unlimitedly, that is God. So Parashar Muni, the father of Vyasadeva, he describes God in that way, Bhagavan. So, Bhagavate, and more precisely, Vasudevaya, the son of Vasudeva. Not anybody. You may think Brahma, okay, maybe he's very powerful. Or like in India, maybe people take Shiva to be also Lord. Sometimes we say Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. So people get confused. Well, he's a Lord, he's a Lord. But we also say landlord. Or someone who's a landlord doesn't mean he's God, just because he owns a little parcel of land. He's just, right? He's a Lord, yeah, but of that small space. But he's not Bhagavan. He's not unlimited. Bhagavan is unlimited and complete, and we are unlimited. We are the smallest particle. For God to be complete, he has to be the biggest, and simultaneously he has to be the smallest. So we happen to be the smallest particle of Krishna. And as Prabhupada always gave the example that the part serves the whole. Right? The finger serves the hand serves the body. And that's how, if the hand nourishes the stomach, then it gets satisfied. If it tries to do it independently, then it cannot enjoy. You cannot just nourish yourself by touching food on a plate. You have to actually feed the stomach. So Krishna is Karana, he's the cause of everything. So if we go, he's the root. And sometimes when you look at a tree, you won't see the root. You'll see the trunk and the leaves and everything, but the root is hidden. But if you don't nourish the root, if you just water the leaves, because that's all you're seeing, the tree will die. You go to the roots. So our process is to go to the root, which is Krishna, the Karana. And so here Prabhupada is a place where Prabhupada is very, in one sense, subtle. Vasudeva indicates the plenary portion of the personality of God. So, Prabhupada gives a hint here. If there's a nice little story in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that describes how when Rupa Goswami was going, he stopped at a place, a village called Satyabhamapuri. And he was already meditating, maybe he had already started. He wanted to write a play about Krishna. So in that village at night, when he was resting, Satyabhama appeared to him and told him, don't put Krishna and Vrindavan and Krishna together, but create two separate plays. He was a little surprised at this. Then finally when he arrived at Jagannath-puri, he was staying with Haridas Thakur. And Lord Chaitanya's activity in the morning, before going to bed, he would go and see Haridas Thakur. Of course, Haridas Thakur was born in a Muslim family, so he never was allowed to enter the Jagannath temple. But Lord Chaitanya would go and give him his darshan every day. So when he came, he saw Rupa Goswami, and of course Rupa Goswami offered his darshan to Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord Chaitanya told him, if you're writing a play, don't take Nanda Nandana out of Vrindavan. So that was like the second advice he was getting, directly from Lord Chaitanya. And Rupa Goswami in the Laghu Bhagavad explains that we know that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So how is that? Well, we see Krishna actually leaves. Akrura comes and he takes Krishna out of Vrindavan. So in the Krishna book, we read how Bhumi took the form of shape of a cow and came to Lord Brahma with tears in her eyes, complaining that there are so many demons interfering with the existence of this earth. So she petitioned Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma finally went with others, or demigods, and went to the ocean of milk, and they proposed or expressed the problem that was taking place with all these demons, and then I will appear. And when Krishna appears, he appears as Vasudeva in the prison because Kamsa was arrested and put Devaki, his sister, and Vasudeva in prison because he heard a voice in the sky saying that you're such a fool, you're driving the chariot of your sister after her wedding, but you don't know that the 8th child was born. So he's arrested them and he's going to kill every child. So when Krishna first appears, he's got 4 arms. And then Devaki, of course, she's very frightened, and Kamsa wants to kill, and now you're manifesting as 4 arms. Obviously, you're the Vasudeva that he wants to kill. So then he removes his 2 arms and comes back in the form of 2-armed Krishna. And then everyone falls asleep, and the prison doors, everything opens up, and he brings that Krishna to Gokul. So there, in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Rupa Goswami explains that meanwhile, Yashoda, she also gave birth, but to twins, to Nandanandana Krishna, and to Subhadra, Yogamaya. So when Vasudeva brings his son to Gokul, Vasudeva Krishna enters Nandanandana Krishna, and then he takes Yogamaya back to the prison. So when Akrura comes later, of course, there are many pastimes are taking place. Krishna's around 10 years old by then, 10 or 12. Then Akrura comes and comes to the Torah. Remind me that, whenever there's demoniac influence and disruption of religion, you come to reestablish religion. And even to emphasize that even more, he tells them how Kamsa is in prison with parents, and he's even in prison Ugrasen, who was Kamsa's father. So you got to come and do something. So then Akrura takes Krishna out of Vrindavan, but just on the border of Vrindavan and Mathura, they go and bathe. And then Akrura, he sees that Krishna's, all of a sudden he's in the water. And he goes and looks at the chariot, and he sees Krishna's also there. So that's when Krishna, Vasudeva goes with Akrura to Mathura and he kills the kids. And then Nandana, Krishna stays in Vrindavan and he never leaves. And Nandana, Krishna is not the one who kills kids and so forth. Like we know with Shishupal, Krishna, the Rajasur sacrifice, and Krishna came and he tolerated 100 insults because that's the promise he had given his he had given that promise to uphold, to tolerate 100 insults. But after that, he chopped off his head with a Sudarshan Chakra. So that's Vasudeva Krishna. He stays in Vrindavan, and there he has all sorts of extraordinary pastimes that take place, but he doesn't kill the demons. And there are different pastimes that are described. And of course, in our particular sampradaya, Krishna and Radharani are not married. In other sampradayas, we see Krishna and Radharani married. There's Swakiya Rasa, but we see Parakiya Rasa. And it's more intimate, because socially they can't be together. And Radharani is married to Abhimanyu, who's like a shadow of Krishna. And they have a lot of wonderful pastimes. And the mother and sister of Abhimanyu is Jatila and Kutila. And they're always trying to, especially to see that Krishna and Radharani are not together. And socially it's not acceptable. But that creates the intrigue that's going on. Just like one time there's a pastime of Jatila means a little deranged. That's what that word means. She's a little deranged. She's like the butt of that village, right? Like she's always like saying all sorts of weird things that people don't believe her and all that. So one day Krishna's with Radharani in her room, and she comes. Jatila is supposed to come later, but she arrives earlier, and Krishna's stuck there, so he jumps out of the window. But from his sash, his flute falls. So then she comes in and she grabs the flute. Oh, finally, I have the proof. People have been laughing and mocking at me, but I have the proof that Krishna is here. So she comes out and she calls all the village, come and see what I finally got. I finally got the proof that Krishna was here. And no one's looking at her and thinking, what's wrong with her? Right? It's the flute festival. And they start showing flute. They all like, what's wrong with this lady? So there was all sorts of pastimes like that taking place. And Radharani, she's got the blessing that whatever she cooks, people who eat that will have longevity and very prosperous existence. So she's encouraged to go and cook for Krishna. She goes every day and cooks for Krishna. And of course, at first, Jatila is not in agreement with that. But of the place, she's very well respected. She said, no, this will be good because you'll get the blessing of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, and that will be good for your family. So every day, Radharani goes and cooks for Krishna. And sometimes Krishna, he starts eating that and he makes a face like, it's not good. Why am I eating this stuff? Right? And he gives it to his coward boyfriends and to the cows and the monkeys, and right, like he's not enjoying the meal at all, And Radharani is all distressed, But it's just to add to the pastime, right? And we know when we read that the gopis, they used to pray to Katyayani, right, to have a good husband and so forth. So Radharani, so Kutila and Jatila, they go and they worship Katyayani. And her desire at one point is that she's so frustrated that, okay, that's it, we're going to move to Mathura. So if we move to Mathura, Krishna and Radharani won't be able to be together. The distance is such, and I won't have to worry about it anymore. So she goes to get the blessings, and Krishna hides behind that deity. And she starts offering prayers and so forth, and all of a sudden the deity starts speaking to her. shocked. You know, that I've heard you're going to move to Mathura. Oh yes, yes, please, I'm come for the blessings. It's not a good thing. I can foretell that your son Abhimanyu will be arrested and he'll be sentenced and his head will be cut off. So don't go to Mathura. Oh no, no, no. So that ended up that problem, that she never decided to go to Mathura. So they have different pastimes like that take place. One time Radharani, she goes to worship the Surya temple. And so Krishna, Madhumangal disguised himself, of course Madhumangal is a word of the Brahmin, but they disguise themselves as fancy Brahmins, you know, not just village Brahmins, and so that Jatila can't recognize them. And they're going to the temple, but Jatila is a little worried because she wants to find some Brahmins to chant the prayers, and there's no one in the temple. So they see these two Brahmins, and she starts saying, "Oh, please come and chant the prayers for us." And no, we're nice to keep brahmacharis. We don't deal with women. You know, Madhumangal is like really serious and stuff. And Krishna's not even saying anything. He's so renounced, like so detached. He doesn't even want to talk to them. He's such a staunch brahmachari, right? We have that sometimes in this country. Very staunch brahmachari. So anyway, so then finally she keeps begging and so forth. Okay, let me talk. So he deals with Krishna, right? He starts dealing and convincing him that this will be okay, because he's going to get some dakshina, which is a lot of sadhus. They go there in the temple, and Krishna starts singing all these wonderful prayers, but they have double, sense. It can glorify the Son, but it's also glorifying Radharani. And Vishwanath Chakravarti does that. He takes all the offenses, all the insults that she plays at Krishna, and he changes it to glorification of Krishna. I don't know Sanskrit, I can't do that, but it's a beautiful description. So Krishna is doing that. He's glorifying, and at one point Radharani recognizes, and she's like kind of, with her veil kind of laughing, like this is. And then Jatila at one point she's like, "What's this? I've never heard these prayers before. Where are these coming from? Wait a minute, we're not just village Brahmins. We were trained by Brihaspati. He's the guru of the demigods, so don't get disturbed. Don't think these are just little village prayers. This is chanted by the demigods in the heavens." Okay. And at the end, of course, she has to get dakshin, so she gives a whole bunch of ladus to Madhumangal. And he's walking around, Ralph, happy with his kirtan, full of. And then the coward boys see him and say, "Hey, what do you got there, Madhu?" No, these are mine, Brahmin dakshin, right? And he's kind of backing up. And then one coward boy lays in the back of him, So then he trips and he falls, and all the ladus start flying everywhere. And they all grab the ladus. And Krishna warns them, "Be careful, he's a Brahmin, he'll curse you, you better give him the ladus back." So there are all these different wonderful pastimes that take place. Like one time, Krishna comes and he sees his mother Yashoda, she's got this big chest, and she's filling it up with saris and jewels and stuff, and Krishna's like innocently inquiring, "Oh, what are you doing?" No, don't disturb me, Krishna. Just go and play, I'm concentrating here. And Krishna keeps insisting that, what are you doing? Radharani comes here every day and she cooks these nice meals and so forth, and out of gratitude, I want to give her some gifts. So Abhimanyu is coming in this direction, so I'm going to fill it, and he'll carry it, and he'll bring it back to Yavat, to his village, and offer it to Radharani. So Krishna's watching and all that, fine. And then she closed the chest, and then she leaves, and Krishna empties out, and he gets into the chest himself, and he closes it. And then Abhimanyu comes and he listens and it's so heavy. She must have put a lot of wealthy things in there, because Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they're like the kings, right? They got thousands of cows, and so they're very opulent, so you think, wow, it's quite a chest here of wealth. So he starts carrying that, Then he brings it in Radharani's room, and he's kind of waiting there. So what do you want? Right? yeah, but I brought this. Yeah, but out. I'm going to try it on. I'm going to try saris and stuff. And then the gopis push him out, right? And then they open the trunk and then Krishna comes out. So there's so many different, like that, different pastimes that happen with Krishna. So that was the point that I wanted to present. I don't know how much more time I should go on and speak. I don't know what time this class is supposed to end. And it's always difficult when you give a class because you don't know how long you're going to present the ideas and how much time it's going to take. But and then sometimes Krishna and Vrindavan, you can say, well, why is Krishna, sometimes the gopis don't see him? So because prakat and aprakat, sometimes Krishna is manifested and they see Krishna, and sometimes he's not manifested. And the reason he doesn't always manifest is to just enhance their attachment in separation. So to enhance their attachment and separation, this is one of the reasons he left during the rasa dance. Krishna disappeared just to enhance their attachment in separation, called vipalamba seva, in separation. And they, Prabhupada, just like the Goswamis, they were always hankering, where's Krishna? They didn't say, oh, I've seen Krishna. No, where's Krishna? That lovyam, that hankering for Krishna, in separation, which is much harder. Then you can say, well, why did even Vasudeva leave? Of course, he was requested to leave, and he was encouraged by Guru to leave. But another reason why Krishna left, as far as Vasudeva left, is that he really felt bad that because I'm here, so many demons are coming. Sending so many demons, and okay, I'm killing them, but they're disrupting the whole atmosphere. Everyone is so disturbed when the demon is coming, and then I have to kill the demon. So if I just went to Mathura, then all my devotees would be peaceful. So then he goes to Mathura. But then in Mathura, what happens is that he kills Kamsa. And his two wives, they become disturbed. Prapti and Shakti and Prapti, I think. They were the daughters of Jarasandha. So of course they come running to their father. And in Vedic times it's not, well, okay, I'm going to get remarried. There's no notion of getting married. So they're widows for the rest of their lives because their husband's been killed by Krishna. So then Jarasandha decides, okay, I'm going to attack Mathura. So he starts attacking Mathura, right? So many times. So then Krishna makes arrangement to end up in Dwarka. So that no Krishna's, we think we're, but actually Krishna's our servant. In the final conception, actually Krishna's our servant. And when you think about that, how wonderful, just like Krishna drove Arjuna's chariot. Krishna's not interested in being God. Although he is the Supreme Personality of God, but that's not what endeavors him, that's not what, makes him vibrate. He's actually a servant. So when you understand that, you become so endeared to Krishna. Why would I serve that person? It's like someone saves your life, you're drowning in this lake, right? Or you had a car accident, and you were unconscious, and then you end up at the hospital. Would you want to find out who pulled you out of that car, or who saved you out of that lake? So when we understand what Krishna has done for us, and what he's doing for us, when we want to worship such a person, when we want to love such a person, it becomes very natural to want to love Krishna. He's so extraordinary, he's so wonderful. So as we chant and we get purified, and why do we chant Hare Krishna? It's to associate with Krishna. Because when you associate with someone, you become attached to that person. And then you fall in love with that person. As that relation becomes more deep and deep. You say, oh, this is my best friend. This is a friend. This is an acquaintance. This is a friend. This is my best friend. But why is this one your best friend? Because it's the person you spend most time with and you've revealed the most confidential aspect of your life. And you know, there's a person not envious of you. Bhakto sime sakacheti, Rahasana. Krishna told Arjuna, I'm revealing this to you, not because you're a Brahmin, or a sannyasi, or a big muni, or... No. Arjuna was a grihastha. He was a kshatriya. He wasn't even a Brahmin. So why is Krishna revealing this? Why is he speaking Bhagavad Gita to him? Because Arjuna had two qualities. He was not envious and he was devoted to Krishna. So, it doesn't matter what position you're in. You can become a spiritual master if you know the science of Krishna. And Prabhupada one time said, this Krishna consciousness is so simple, you might miss it. Why is it simple? Simply the art of showing love for Krishna. And that's not difficult because we know how to show love amongst ourselves. Right? If you love someone, it's very natural to show love to the person you love. So if we love Krishna, if we have no prejudice, if we're not biased, then it becomes very easy to love Krishna. And that name Krishna is so beautiful. When you say Krishna, automatically you have a smile on your face. The most attractive person. He has all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, all and people are attracted to someone who's beautiful. People are attracted to someone who's wealthy or is famous. But Krishna has all of that, unlimitedly. But at the same time, he's in Vrindavan holding the tails of the cats and being dragged in the mud. So, yeah, it's difficult to understand Krishna. Who would believe such a thing, right? This is God. He's being dragged in the mud with holding the tails of the cat. How's that? Even Brahma, he couldn't believe it. He became bewildered. The Brahma, Vimoha. He came, and he couldn't believe that this can be my God. Mahavishnu that I see, this is it. So he stole all the cow and the cows. But as mentioned here, Krishna Swarat is fully independent. He didn't rely on that. He manifested again all the cowherd boys. And these cowherd boys were so extraordinary that when they came back home, the parents had more love for them than their own children. And the cows were pouring more milk when they saw their own calves. Of course, this was an arrangement that Krishna made because all of them, they all wanted Krishna as their children. And they couldn't. So Krishna manifested himself in that way. He manifested that pastime so they could have that arrangement. Just like he stole the playboys. No. They wanted Krishna as their husband. And they couldn't do that socially. And Prabhupada describes that a woman cannot be naked in front of no one else but her own husband. So by displaying that, he accepted them as his wives. But there was no sexual or lust there's none of that in the spiritual world. And Krishna is so attached to the pastimes. Even Vasudeva himself, Vasudeva Krishna is enamored by Nandanandana Krishna. When he saw a reflection of Nandanandana picture, sometimes describes a picture, when he was in Dwarka, he was, in trance. Who's such a beautiful person I've never seen? And at night time, because he did take part in some of the pastimes of Nandanandana Krishna when he was there with David, he dreams at night and he speaks. And the queens wake up and they're hearing their husband, Dwarkadish, mentioning the names of the gopis and so forth, and they know. Why is he so attracted to these village girls? Because we know Krishna married 16,108 wives, and he built a palace for all of them. So they're all living in this very... And Satyabhama even wanted Krishna to go and take the Parijata tree from heaven, from Indra. So they have all this opulence and all this extraordinary... And still Krishna's not happy. He's lamenting. Okay. That's I've done that. So I'll stop here, but if you have any questions on this, I'd be more than happy. Yes?
I've a question. In the beginning you mentioned about AUM, right? And then you mentioned that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, I think, accept it as Radha and Krishna. But then you explained it as Vasudeva, Sankashan, Padumna, and Anaruddha. So how is it Radha and Krishna?
Well, it's because it's the bija, so everything is there. So according to different conception, Radha and Krishna is there in the Om. Sometimes it also describes that it's the superior, marginal, and inferior energy of the Lord that's there. And of course the Chaturvyuha energy of the Lord. So Parasha Shakti Videya Shriyate, the Lord has multiple energies. So within that Om, because it's a seed, many things come out. And that's why the Gayatri Mantra comes out, the Srimad Bhagavatam comes out. And depending on our level of conception, the impersonalists also chant Om. But for them, Om is just Brahman. And they take the verse, Parameti Paramatmeti Bhagavan Sabjate, they say, yeah, see, from Brahman comes Paramatma, comes Bhagavan. They wrap it around the opposite way. We say, no, from Bhagavan comes Paramatma, comes Brahman. They say, no. Parameti Paramatmeti Bhagavan. So, but it's just to describe that Om is from everything manifests from that sound. Yes.
Prabhu, I just want to make sure I understand. So there's Vasudeva Krishna, who was born in Mathura, and then he was brought to Vrindavan, and he went inside of Nanda Krishna.
Yes.
So when Krishna was killing demons as a baby, it was actually Vasudeva Krishna, not Nanda Krishna. But when Krishna left Vrindavan, it was Vasudeva Krishna who left, and then Nanda Krishna stayed. But why would they go to these feeling love and separation if Krishna was there?
Because Krishna sometimes is there as Prakat and sometimes aprakat. Sometimes he's manifested and sometimes he's not. It's just like Sachimata. She would cook, and Lord Chaitanya would come and eat the offering, and she would see the offering is gone. She thought, oh, maybe I didn't cook anything. What happened? She'd be bewildered. So one Jagadananda went to Mayapur and he was sent there after criticizing Lord Chaitanya. He said, tell my mother that whenever she cooks, I actually go there and eat. But she couldn't see that. So sometimes the Lord manifests himself and sometimes he doesn't manifest himself to the devotees just to enhance their attachment. So the gopis, and sometimes when Krishna was there, they thought he wasn't there. Like one time, Radharani is lying on Krishna's laps, and there's a bee that came. And because Radharani's face like a lotus, the bee started. So then Madhumangal chased the bee and said, Madhu's gone, Madhu's gone. And she thought she was referring to Krishna, because Krishna is also known as Madhusudan. So she thought Krishna is gone, even though she was on Krishna's lap, and she fainted. Just the thought of thinking that Krishna is gone. So sometimes Krishna manifests, sometimes he doesn't. It depends on the pastimes and the mood. But it's all to enhance, increase the attachment for him and his devotees. They hope do these different pastimes accordingly. Yes.
Just a part of that is that the separation from Krishna in the material world, separation is painful, and there's no, satisfaction for anything in it. But in the spiritual world, the separation from Krishna is actually the highest ecstasy. So it's a completely different thing. So even though Krishna is not there, he's actually there in the ecstasy of the gopis.
Yeah. Called Vipalamba Seva. Because Krishna is never really separated. It's just another form of, just like we're under Yoga Maya, and in the spiritual world we're under Maha Maya. But there's always an illusion there. Because the gopis in the spiritual world, in Vrindavan, they have no notion that Krishna is God. They have that kind of illusion because it interferes with the depth of their pastime. There's not even any Aishwarya Bhav in Vrindavan. In Dwarka, there's Aishwarya Bhav. There's on reverence. In Vrindavan, there's no armed reverence. That's why the cowboys can steal Krishna's lunch, and they can step on his shoulder when they're wrestling. When Krishna loses, then sometimes the cowboys can go on Krishna's back, and different things happen. But that's because they don't have that reverential mood towards Krishna. They're very intimate. So that separation, as Krishna is saying, it's not that, oh well, we're separated from Krishna, maybe we're ecstasy. No, it's not the same separation as in the spiritual world. Our separation is a real separation. Although it's not, because Krishna is in our heart, but our consciousness is such that we've distanced ourselves from Krishna. So therefore Krishna appears very small in our consciousness, although Krishna is everything. There's nothing but Krishna in different aspects. Like within $1,000, you have 1 to 1,000. It's all there within that 1,000. So within Krishna, everything is there. There's nothing but Krishna. But unlike the Mayavadis, that it's all one, we say one, simultaneously one and different. There are many energies within that one Krishna. Yes, go ahead.
Mahatma Prabhu and I were appreciating the paradox of the point that you made, that although Krishna himself does not wish to be God because of the controller, the proprietor, we want to be God. Krishna himself doesn't want to be God, but we want to be God.
Yeah, it's a little bit like poor people want to be rich, and rich people don't want people to know about it. So it's a little bit like that. Yes, please.
Thank you so much for the nice class. I would like to enlighten on types of consciousness that we're talking about, awakening and samadhi. Maybe we can help understand how we can come to the state of samadhi and really awakening or awakening.
How we can develop a samadhi status or come to a stage? Well, there are two things. First, desire, and sadhu sanga. These are the means. We enhance our desire by associating with those who have the desire, and we have to nourish that. Just like if you want a plant to grow, you've got to water it, otherwise the plant will die. So we have to water our creeper, bhakti like a beach, and the watering process is by associating with devotees who have that. Then we get nourished by their association, by their enthusiasm, by their devotion. We become inspired to do the same. Because we're social beings, we like to be with others. So therefore Lord Chaitanya came and brought the Sankirtan movement, congregational together, not alone. Bhaktisiddhanta criticized a person who just wants to go and chant alone by himself just to get some glorification. But we're meant to be together. So that's how we're going to, and then, as Prabhupada said, first desire, then deserve. So if we desire enough, then we'll deserve. And when Krishna recognizes that, he'll manifest himself. There's no problem for Krishna to manifest himself to us. But we have to qualify ourselves for it. It's not a cheap thing. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes enthusiasm is not passion. I want like, the fox that wanted the grapes and afterwards they're sour. I don't want that. It's not like that. Enthusiasm means whatever it takes. It takes 100 years, okay, great. I'm dancing in ecstasy. Whatever it takes. That's enthusiasm. I'm going to stick with this no matter what it takes. It may seem like a drop of water hitting the rock, but if that drop hits long enough, eventually it's going to make a hole through that rock. So we may feel that we're just dropping, making a little drop every day. But we have to have that determination and that conviction that eventually our hearts will be pierced and we'll be able to see Krishna. Of course, there's the mind process of devotional service and all that there, but that's the means of it. Any other questions or comments?
Yeah, one more question.
Yes,
you gave a lot of really nectarine pastimes. I was thinking that could be from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I've been meaning to read the Brihad Bhagavatamrita for a long time, so I'm not familiar with all the the Leelas. Were you quoting from many different sources, or was there one main source?
Well, some of them were Dinabandhu.
Okay.
When they go on Prabhupada with Dinabandhu and so forth,
The
you hear all these
Leela
different,
Acharya.
you do different old pastimes and so forth.
He's there.
So yeah.
Nice, thank you.
Okay, now for the real treat, Prashadam. Thank you very much. We'll talk back to you, Joe.
No, I said, I called him out. Oh, listen, Mahatma Prabhu had a suggestion that maybe the piece, if it was elevated, it would
We can do that. We'll get another speaker. Okay. Yeah.
also maybe midnight, or oh, you did?
Just a brief update. This is the festival schedule.
Maybe better, maybe worse.
I have two speakers like that. I mean, the hall has its own.
Hare Krishna, is it better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. So first of all, I'd just like to welcome, we do have some new guests joining us. We really hope you'll be able to enjoy the Vaishnava Sanga and the wonderful festival that we've put together. So just to get to it, there's been about 30 to 40 minute delay. But so everything on our schedule that we see for Thursday just pushed out by half an hour. We will eventually just around noon time sort of come back to schedule. So a few things, there is a kids camp and the meditation hall downstairs. It's the second room, so after breakfast, typically between 10 to 1 p.m. sorry. You can, if you want to get your kids there, they will be supervised, and they have programs that are being arranged for them. So this is being coordinated by Mataji Vajrapremika. There are also yoga sessions optional every morning between 7 to 7:45 downstairs. Yoga mats, I believe, are provided there. Prashadam is in the third room, so if you go downstairs, so everything is basically happening downstairs. In the third room, you'll be able to get Prashadam. Just a few things, there's a charging station kit at the back there by the Mahamantra, so if you need to charge your cell phones or iPads, where the big Mahamantra sign is, that's where you'll find the charging kit. And there's a first aid box right next to it by the window. There's also drinking water stations all throughout the building, the premises. You'll notice one just behind here by this green column. And a reminder that there is Mangal Arati programs every morning at 5 a.m. So if you'd like to join and enjoy that blissful experience. So I won't speak much longer. Let's proceed to Prashadam. Hare Krishna.